D3o is a polymer, but it's based upon a fluid which behaves very differently according to the speed at which you ask the fluid to move. So at low speeds it's very soft and flexible, but when you try and ask it to flow or move quickly, it's got a molecular bond which locks together and doesn't want to move at all.
The molecule itself doesn't change its structure. What changes the type of bond between the molecules. So when the material flows, in that case, what happens is the bond between the molecules is not that strong, so the molecules, they can really flow on each other. Really, it's like water. The molecule of water, they simply flow on each other. Whereas when it becomes ice, the molecules, they rearrange themselves in a very organized, structured way, and they create a proper, strong hydrogen bond in that case. In the case of D3o, when you impact it, the molecules, they almost don't have time to move. So they kind of lock themselves in that position. So really for us, the challenge was to use that material and to make it into something more elastic, something that even when you deform it, then when you remove the deformation, it comes back to its original shape.
We were trying to, mix materials which don't want to mix. And we had, we employed some really, really smart people who knew a lot more than we did. But the frustrating thing with discussing it with people like that sometimes is they just say, well, no, you can't do that. And one thing I just can't stand listening to is, well, if there was a better way, somebody would have thought of it by now. I mean, we might as well go home if that's the approach. So when you do have your idea, your belief, your dream, that you can do something differently, then you just have to keep pursuing it. So we were working with this base material and trying to add polymers to it that are elastic. So you're using lots of other promoters like solvents and, agitators and surfactants and other things to try and get them to actually want to live together. And one day I just sort of came back, and what was big lumps suddenly weren't big lumps anymore. It was all mixed together. And I thought, ooh, that's very interesting.
We have engineered this particular formulation to make a light polymer. Basically, there is air in it. And in this way, it can maintain the properties of D3o, but at the same time be quite light and quite comfortable. Right, just stuck a little bit, but it doesn't matter. This is like a mid-range density, so it's about 0.5, 0.6
It feels really nice and soft, but it will
so,
harden.
Yeah, it will harden, but it's fine.
I mean, for the first half, that's actually pretty good, isn't it?
Yes.
We had a lot worse.
Just hit me in the knee with a spray, go on.
You want me to hit you in the knee?
Go on. Yeah.
Well, seriously?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Harder than that? Not a robot or something, are you?
No.
What have I got to do? Hit you with it?
It's just it's a thin pad. That's what is doing the protection. It's really soft.
What's it used for, mainly?
It's actually used a lot in snowboarding. Quicksilver have it in beanies.
Is it always going to be an orange?
You've got an orange problem?
Yeah, no. Big love for orange.
Yeah, I mean, the ballet shoe was Michael just came to the studio, actually, said that he was interested in making, some dance and ballet shoes using D3o material, and he brought along some existing products, and, to our amazement, showed how they were made. It's so old-fashioned, I just couldn't believe it.
When I stretch my leg, yeah, it follows the shape of my foot, but I feel like this is too bulky.
Ballet dancers started to wear ballet point shoes about 300 years ago, during Louis XIV in France, to protect their foot when they were going on pointe, or walking or dancing. And the way they were making them, the materials they are using, leather, satin, paste, paper, hessian, has always been the same. Imagine your foot standing on toes in a shoe. then you have all your tendons which are being stretched. Then all your calf is also being stretched and standing. So the tensions, the negative energy are enormous. It's about 6 times the weight of the dancer.
The ballet dancer will do a lot of jumping and landing. And that induces stresses in the body. And the stresses come about because of a load being transmitted over an area. Stress is a load divided by the area. Just standing, not doing anything, induces a stress. However, when a ballet dancer lands, that process of landing can multiply the stress by many times. For example, if I take this rod, this steel rod here, and place this load on the rod gradually, very slowly, such as that, it induces a stress in the rod. If I load it very suddenly by letting go of the weight, the stress that's induced will be almost twice that was induced by the static load. So for a ballet dancer jumping from, say, 1 metre high, the stress can be many times that of the static loading, just standing still. Ballet dancers don't do this just once in an evening. They do this many times, tens of times, maybe more than that. So this is a large, repeated loading on the body.
We work about 8 to 9 hours a day sometimes, so all week, 6 days a week. And that's, just using your body all day long. So I think that's pretty tough. But the traditional shoes, well, I'll do a lot of things too. I will just take this nail off. I will sort of make the insole a little bit, just a little bit softer. I will put the platform here in the shank, I will put that usually inside a door and sort of like break them in that way by just closing and sort of opening the door on them. So that it's a little bit softer and it just becomes a bit rounder around my toes. Right now they're like rock solid. They also make noise. And they're just really hard. They're really uncomfortable for my feet right now. But that's them brand new, how I get them from my shoe lady downstairs. I then put the ribbons on, the elastic on, and I just make them to how I need them for them to be perfect for me to dance on.
So we had a product which was relevant 300 years ago, but I'm sure today we could do something much better.
Sometimes, if you cut the insole completely, it sort of digs inside the foot.
We first looked for materials. I was contacting the big one like DuPont and D3o or whatever. And because we are a small company, they never took us seriously.
Especially with my instep and the shape of my feet.
I read the Sunday Times every Sunday thinking one day I will need it. And there's a reason why I'm reading the Sunday Times. And one day we had the picture of Richard saying, I've created D3o, and I've been reading it, and I thought, that's what I need. So the Monday, I contacted Richard, and I said, hello, Richard, I'm Michael. I do Pointe shoes, and I'd love to incorporate your product into my Pointe shoes. So we took 2 engineers to work with us. They had the software to model the foot. They had the software to assess the impact of the movement of the foot. They had the engineering understanding of the product. So all together, we came up with the final idea of the angel. We called it the angel because it's got 2 wings, it's got 1 head and 1 body. And every part of the angel are protecting the foot of the dancers. The body of the angel is protecting the foot from the heel to the balls of the foot. Then we've got the 2 wings covering the foot on the vamp. And then we have the head of the angel, which is covering and protecting the toes when the dancers goes on point. And all this goes inside the shoe. So on the outside, the shoe looks traditional, but on the inside, we've got the angel, which is reacting to every movement. It's like a muscles protecting the foot and the dancer when they go on point, demi-point, walk, jump, or run.
The Capulet shoes are less noisy, one really good thing. They're more comfortable, just because of the material, the D3o. Very good too. They last longer, and they also absorb the shock when you jump. They cushion your landing. It's an amazing concept. It's something I need to keep trying. But so far, you know, that's what I found, and that's quite a lot.
I've never worn ballet shoes, I probably never will. So I have no idea at all about what makes a good ballet shoe and what doesn't. So that's when you have to listen. And you have to ask the right questions, which is where engineering comes in to resolve the need that you have.
Engineering, technology and science were very important because they allow us to really assess what was happening for the dancer's foot. And the answer from the dancers is always very positive. Anyone who's tried it loved it.